April 4th, 2025. The day most people will simply mark as another date on the calendar. Yet for those in the know, this is a cosmic turning point that could transform your entire life. This Mercury retrograde, kicking off precisely at 2:17 a.m. Universal Time, is not the same old astrological cliché your mother's horoscope might have warned you about. This time, something unprecedented is in the planetary ether, something that mainstream media will never broadcast. It's a hidden advantage, a secret doorway to recoding your deepest limiting beliefs, and you're about to hear exactly how to walk through that doorway before it closes. Because let me be very clear, we have a tiny, precious window, and if you ignore it, you may find yourself trapped in outdated mental loops for years to come. You might wonder why this is so urgent, why this retrograde is different than any other Mercury retrograde of the past decades, or why some hush-hush research labs in Europe are quietly excited about the chance to observe a spike in neural plasticity during this cosmic phase. That's what they don't want you to know. And if that little shock of curiosity is now running up your spine, congratulations. You're exactly where you need to be. Allow me to introduce you to the mind behind this groundbreaking revelation. Professor Sophia Marquez. If you haven't heard her name yet, it's only a matter of time before it floods your newsfeed. She is a neuroscientist and consciousness researcher, celebrated for her 15 years of extensive work on the neurochemistry of human belief systems. She's not just some academic perched in an ivory tower. She's a pioneer who has successfully merged hard science with the intangible realms of spirituality and consciousness studies. She has consulted on multi-million-dollar research projects investigating how the brain encodes personal narratives and has authored peer-reviewed papers that challenge our understanding of free will. In private circles, she's been known to say she hears the hum of higher dimensions when analyzing data. Some interpret that as a metaphor for her uncanny ability to detect subtle brainwave patterns invisible to most. Others suggest she literally interfaces with cosmic intelligence. However you see her, there's one fact no one can contest. Her lab has tracked an undeniable relationship between Mercury retrograde periods and a temporary boost in how pliable our neurons become, meaning, in plain English, that during these windows, we can rapidly uproot self-sabotaging programs and recode them for success. Now, let's anchor ourselves in the broader cosmic context. As you may already sense, the planet is undergoing a seismic energetic shift. In fact, April 2025 is loaded with more than just Mercury's apparent backward motion. We're stepping out of the powerful solar eclipse from March 29th, whose reverberations still linger in Earth's electromagnetic field. We also have Jupiter crossing a critical threshold in Aries, spurring boldness and pioneering spirit on a global scale. And in just 2 weeks, another partial lunar eclipse will dance across the sky, stirring emotional depths and intensifying the need for authenticity. What all these celestial alignments amount to is a confluence of energies practically screaming for transformation. It's as if we're living at the intersection of cosmic highways that have rarely all converged at once. This is not the Mercury retrograde your friends warn you about when they say, "Don't sign that contract." This time is different. a rare synergy of astral influences that can break open the doors of your subconscious faster than any therapy you've tried. By the end of this video, you will learn precisely why Mercury retrograde can accelerate your personal evolution, and we'll dive into a groundbreaking 4-step retrograde rewire method that Professor Marquez has distilled from her years of data. You'll get exclusive insights into how to prepare your body, mind, and spirit for the torrent of incoming frequencies. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single step, because doing this incorrectly or missing even one part could leave you more entangled in your old story than before. I'll also share a short guided meditation to help you anchor the new codes you'll be downloading, reveal real-life examples of individuals who've harnessed this phenomenon in the past, and provide answers to the most common questions people have about the entire process. So make sure you stay with me until the very end, because every second counts in this cosmic dance. Let's unpack the underlying science and spirituality behind this phenomenon. You might be thinking, is Mercury retrograde just a superstition? We're going to merge the cutting-edge research with ancient esoteric wisdom to show you how real this is. First, from a purely scientific perspective, consider the concept of magnetoreception, which certain living organisms use to sense Earth's magnetic fields. Humans, although less consciously aware, also respond to subtle electromagnetic fluctuations. During Mercury retrograde, the planet's apparent reverse movement correlates with slight shifts in solar wind patterns, which in turn gently perturb Earth's geomagnetic field. A study published by a European cognition lab in 2023 discovered that neural plasticity, our brain's ability to form and reorganize synaptic connections, jumped by an average of 13.6% during such geomagnetic fluctuations. Though 13.6% may not sound like a tidal wave, in neuroscientific terms, it's colossal. It means your brain is more flexible, more ready to release stuck narratives, more open to forging entirely new mental pathways. Spiritually, these subtle electromagnetic shifts can be described as changes in frequency or vibration. Many traditions speak of cosmic rhythms, like the Vedic concept of planetary influences on human consciousness, or the Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, which suggests that celestial events mirror our internal states. Think of your brain as a finely tuned radio dial. Normally, you're locked onto a certain station, but now, for a limited time, the cosmic static around you adjusts the dial, allowing you to pick up new stations, higher frequencies, if you will. Picture a violin string resonating in harmony with an unseen symphony. This is exactly how your neural networks resonate with the cosmic conditions. When your brain rides these frequencies, new synaptic connections form more quickly, like seeds sprouting in fertile soil after a fresh rain. If you harness this potential, you can drastically rewire old patterns. If you ignore it, your mind reverts to business as usual. This is hardly a new concept, by the way. Ancient civilizations had entire rituals designed around planetary cycles. The Sumerians meticulously tracked Mercury's cycles, correlating them with times of reflection and rewriting personal destiny. Maya elders taught that each Mercury retrograde was a reflection of Quetzalcoatl's descent and ascent in the underworld, a metaphor for diving into the psyche to reclaim lost power. Egyptian temple scribes often paused major communal decisions during these planetary retrogrades, believing it was a window for cleansing illusions. When you line up their historical records, you begin to notice a pattern. These ancient cultures recognized that cosmic events, especially Mercury retrograde, corresponded with opportunities for deep introspection and recalibration. Even more fascinating, you'll see that many traditions prophesied a period in humanity's timeline when these energies would intensify, when evolution would speed up to a near frantic pace. Some say that time is now. Now, let's get specific about this particular retrograde. Mercury enters the pre-shadow phase on March 28th, meaning that from March 28th to April 4th, you might already begin experiencing subtle signs, technological hiccups, emotional weirdness, or random blasts from the past. Then, at dawn on April 4th, Mercury appears to go backward in the sky. That's the official start of the retrograde, which will last until April 25th. During these 3 weeks, the Earth-Mercury-Sun configuration creates a dynamic that, according to recent scientific modeling, heightens that 13.6% jump in neural plasticity. Interestingly, Professor Marquez notes that around April 15th, the midpoint, this effect peaks, with some individuals showing as high as 17% to 18% increased plasticity in lab scans, measuring gamma wave bursts in the prefrontal cortex. Finally, by April 25th, Mercury stations direct, and we move into the post-shadow phase until around May 1st, when everything settles down. That's the window. A few weeks to dive in, rewire your beliefs, and come out the other side feeling like an entirely new version of yourself. Imagine having the cosmic wind at your back as you release old stories, old fears, old self-imposed limits. Let me illustrate how powerful this can be through the story of Carlos, a client from Professor Marquez's lab who volunteered in a pilot program studying the retrograde rewire method. Carlos had been haunted by a constant sense of unworthiness since childhood, convinced he was destined for mediocrity. The moment the retrograde started, he reported intense dreams, almost like flashbacks, showing him where this belief took root. An unkind remark from a school teacher when he was 7, a painful day when peers ridiculed him in middle school. He felt waves of anxiety and dread, as if he were reliving the past. Then, following the step-by-step neural recoding protocols, Carlos systematically replaced these narratives with a new story of worthiness, resilience, and purpose. By the end of the retrograde, he spoke of feeling a deep sense of liberation, describing it as breathing pure freedom for the first time. He reported an 80% reduction in negative self-talk and a corresponding spike in creative productivity at work. That's just one example. These outcomes aren't random. They follow predictable patterns aligned with the cosmic blueprint. Let's dig deeper into how you might recognize if you're one of the many people already feeling this shift. First come the physical signs. In the days leading up to Mercury retrograde, you might experience tension headaches or pressure around your temples. This can be your brain literally ramping up its processing capacity, somewhat like a computer running a demanding software update. Some report bouts of fatigue, as if their bodies are working overtime to metabolize emotional baggage. Others note sudden bursts of energy, followed by the need for a power nap. almost like an oscillation between dimensions. You might also have unexplained aches in your neck or shoulders, possibly reflecting energy blockages surfacing for release. Strange dietary shifts can appear too. You might crave more water-rich foods or find yourself spontaneously going off caffeine because your body says, "No, we need clarity now." All of this can be normal during this time. If that's happening to you, it isn't reason to panic. Quite the opposite. It's a sign your system is recalibrating. Then there are emotional and psychological signs. Don't be surprised if old wounds, ones you thought were buried, suddenly bubble to the surface. You might feel unexplained sadness or bursts of anger directed at something that happened a decade ago. You could cycle through a day feeling nostalgic, then irritable, then oddly euphoric. This can be your subconscious house cleaning, an emotional purge meant to make space for the new. These shifts often manifest as what might look like a crisis. But in spiritual terms, crisis is a turning point, a rebirth scenario. What if those tears of sorrow you shed out of nowhere are really part of your cosmic labor pains, delivering you into a higher level of self-awareness? That's precisely how Professor Marquez sees it, and how thousands of people worldwide are also experiencing it. It's transformation dressed up as turmoil, and your role is not to resist it, but to allow it to pass through, gleaning wisdom from each wave. On a more mystical level, you may notice an uptick in intuition or psychic sensitivity. Maybe you sense what someone will say just before they say it, or you see repeating numbers like 1111, 333, or 444 a dozen times a day, as if the universe is tapping you on the shoulder. Déjà vu might become startlingly frequent, almost like you're skipping in and out of parallel timelines, receiving glimpses of how your reality might unfold. Synchronicities, meaningful coincidences could flare up, such as stumbling on a book in a bookstore that answers a burning question you hadn't even vocalized yet. This is the cosmos whispering, "You're on the right track. Keep going." The question is, will you notice? Relationships and environmental factors also come into play. During these heightened frequencies, you might feel a sudden repulsion toward those who remain stuck in negativity or cynicism. It's not that you're judging them as inferior. It's more like your vibration is shifting so quickly that you naturally repel energies that don't match your new resonance. Conversely, you may feel a magnetism toward completely new people or a sudden desire to change your environment. Maybe redecorate your home, plan a trip, or even move to a different city. If you're noticing any of these shifts, it's yet another sign that Mercury retrograde is stirring your life's foundations, urging you to realign with your highest path. So, how do you prepare for this cosmic wave and ride it skillfully? Let's talk practical steps. First, your body. Your physical vessel is the foundation that houses your evolving consciousness. Professor Marquez recommends focusing on anti-inflammatory, high-vibration foods during these weeks. Think fresh fruits, leafy greens, sprouted grains. Avoid excessive sugar, caffeine, and alcohol, as they can distort the new signals trying to form in your neural circuits. Hydration is crucial, especially filtered water, or water infused with crystals like clear quartz, for those inclined toward the more esoteric approach. Regular exercise, yoga, walking in nature, or light cardio helps flush toxins and stagnant energies out of your system. And do not underestimate the power of a good night's sleep. Your brain integrates new neural pathways most efficiently during REM cycles, when your subconscious is highly active. Mentally and emotionally, meditation becomes a game changer. Even something as simple as spending 5 minutes each morning in mindful breathing can help stabilize your emotional waves. Picture each inhale as drawing in golden light, each exhale as releasing old tension and limiting beliefs. Visualization techniques can magnify the effect. For example, see yourself standing in a column of shimmering, purifying light that dissolves self-doubt from every cell. Journaling is another powerful tool. Spend 10 minutes jotting down any stray thoughts, emotions, or dreams. You'd be amazed how patterns and epiphanies reveal themselves on the page, giving you actionable insights into what's been holding you back. Emotional release is key. Whether it's shouting into a pillow, having a good cry, or practicing an ancient technique like Ho'oponopono, the principle is the same. Let it out, let it go. Creating a sacred space can amplify your healing tenfold. It doesn't have to be elaborate or expensive. Light a candle, burn some sage or incense if that resonates with you, and place a few crystals, amethyst, selenite, or labradorite are top picks for mental clarity. Around your meditation area, soft music at 528 Hertz or 963 Hertz can guide your brain into more harmonious states. Professor Marquez suggests having a small symbol of personal significance, a family heirloom, a meaningful photograph, or even a simple seashell from a cherished beach to anchor the energy of your transformation. Perform a quick space-clearing ritual by walking around the room with your candle or smudging stick, affirming that you are releasing any stagnant or negative vibrations. This primes the environment for the deep inner work you're about to do. Now let's map out a schedule. Ideally, in the days before April 4th, you'll simplify your life, clearing out unnecessary tasks and distractions. On April 4th itself, the first day of Mercury retrograde, create time for a deeper meditation, 20 or 30 minutes if possible, to mark this transition. From April 4th to around April 15th, you're in an intensifying phase. Dedicate each morning to conscious journaling or a short breathwork session. In the evenings, try a 10-minute visualization of the future self you desire to embody. Around April 15th, when the effect peaks, consider a mini retreat day, if possible. A few hours devoted solely to introspection, reflection, and reaffirmation of your new beliefs. Then, as the retrograde begins to wind down after April 25th, keep reinforcing your new mental pathways by repeating affirmations and continuing your journaling, but also allowing yourself to gradually shift focus back to external projects. By May 1st, you should sense a settling of energies, a new normal in which your recoded mindset has truly taken root. As promised, let's turn our attention to Professor Marquez's 4-step retrograde rewire method, designed to harness this heightened neural plasticity for dismantling limiting beliefs and replacing them with empowering truths. First is identification. You must pinpoint the specific limiting belief or beliefs you want to release. It could be, I'm not good enough, I'll never have financial security, or I don't deserve love. Write it down, say it out loud, feel the emotions that come with it. Facing the belief head-on is crucial, because you can't recode what you haven't properly identified. Second is reflection. Carve out time to contemplate the origins of that belief. Journal about the memories, people, and situations that planted that seed of limitation. Did it come from parental criticism, a social stigma you encountered in adolescence, a traumatic event? This reflection phase is like shining a flashlight into a dark attic. You can't tidy up until you see where everything is. Third is neural bridging. This is where the magic happens. Replace the old belief with a new empowering statement. For instance, if your limiting belief is, "I'm unlovable," create a bridging statement like, "I am learning to recognize my inherent worthiness and capacity to love and be loved." You then practice this statement multiple times a day, speaking it, writing it, even mentally rehearsing it while you cook dinner. Think of it as forging a new neural pathway. The more you traverse that path, the stronger it becomes, and the more the old path fades. Fourth and finally is integration. You seal the new belief into your daily life. This might involve a small daily ritual, like placing your hand on your heart each morning and affirming your worth. Or it could be a symbolic act, like donating clothes that no longer match the person you're becoming. Integration is about turning the abstract into the tangible. Only when your new belief system is woven into action, speech, and thought does it truly become your default programming. Let's pause for a brief Q&A. People often ask, "Isn't this just placebo?" According to double-blind controlled studies performed at that European Cognition Lab, participants who engaged in belief recoding exercises during Mercury retrograde saw on average a 40% faster shift in self-reported mental states than those who performed the same exercises outside the retrograde window. That's significantly greater than a typical placebo effect. Another question is, what if I feel overwhelmed or too emotional? Emotional overwhelm is a sign that your psyche is releasing old material. Grounding techniques like placing your feet on the bare earth, focusing on your breath, or sipping herbal tea can help you ride that wave. Another common question, can you do this more than once during the retrograde? Absolutely. You can tackle multiple beliefs or revisit the same one until you feel complete resolution. Just be mindful not to overextend yourself. Integration requires time and consistency. Now, I want to share a special revelation that Professor Marquez hesitated to publish widely, partly because it veers into the mystical. She discovered that during Mercury retrograde, the pineal gland, often called the third eye in spiritual circles, exhibits unusual spikes in activity when individuals are exposed to frequencies around 963 Hz. It's as if the electromagnetic shifts, courtesy of Mercury, make the pineal gland more receptive to higher vibrational input. This might explain why so many people report flashes of clairvoyance, deeper intuition, or spontaneous mystical experiences during retrograde periods. Imagine your pineal gland as a cosmic antenna. During normal times, it picks up signals sporadically, but during the retrograde, that antenna might extend itself beyond the usual range, tuning into guidance, visions, or epiphanies that can accelerate your transformation. Of course, mainstream science is not entirely comfortable with this narrative yet, but if you've ever had a vivid dream or a sudden knowing that defied logic, you already have a taste of what's possible. With that in mind, I invite you to a short guided meditation. Close your eyes, or at least soften your gaze if you prefer. Take a deep breath in through your nose, feeling your chest expand. Exhale slowly through your mouth, releasing any tension. Imagine you're standing in a lush forest at dawn, the air crisp and filled with the scent of pine. Rays of golden sunlight filter through the leaves, illuminating a path ahead. As you begin to walk, notice a gentle, pulsing sensation in your forehead. This is your pineal center, your innate compass guiding you toward liberation from limiting thoughts. With each step, feel yourself letting go of self-doubt. Pause to see a glimmering mirror on the side of the path. Look into it and see a reflection of your radiant, confident self. Let this image imprint upon your heart. When you're ready, return to awareness of your body in the present moment, bringing back that sense of expanded possibility. Gently open your eyes. You've just anchored a seed of higher awareness that will continue to grow, especially in the upcoming days of the retrograde. If you're still wondering, will any of this really matter for me? Consider how thousands of people across continents and cultures have shared testimonials about life-altering changes during Mercury retrograde. There's a reason spiritual communities, mindful entrepreneurs, and curious skeptics alike are taking note. The data show a genuine neurological opening, and the spiritual traditions echo that sentiment with their talk of portals and gateways. We are at a hinge point in the collective story. Widespread transformation is not just a lofty idea, it's happening all around us. And each time one person liberates themselves from toxic beliefs, it resonates outward like ripples in a pond, influencing how we evolve collectively. Of course, physical changes support this process too. Some individuals experience what they describe as energy surges through the spine, reminiscent of Kundalini awakenings documented in yogic texts. Others report ringing in the ears, typically interpreted as your system adjusting to higher frequencies. While it can be disconcerting, it's not harmful. Think of it like fine-tuning a radio station. On a societal level, you might notice more conversations about mental health, spirituality, or paradigm shifts in technology and governance. It's all connected. The microcosm of your personal growth echoes the macrocosm of our world's transformation. At this point, let's outline a quick timeline for the rest of April so you can plan accordingly. From March 28th through April 3rd, ease into simpler routines and do a mini cleanse if possible. On April 4th, the official start, set a strong intention for what you want to release and create. From April 5th to the 14th, keep a daily diary of synchronicities and emotional releases, no matter how trivial they might seem in the moment. April 15th marks the midpoint, a powerful day to check your progress, celebrate small wins, and refine your objectives. From April 16th to the 25th, it's prime time to deepen your neural bridging work, repetition of affirmations, journaling, or meditation. On April 25th, Mercury stations direct. Take a day to rest, reflect, and let your new codes settle. From April 26th to May 1st, gently transition back to normal routines, but maintain your best practices: healthy eating, mindfulness, and reaffirmation, so the newly formed neural pathways solidify. Before we wrap up, let's recap the key points. First, we established that this Mercury retrograde is unlike previous ones, thanks to the overlap of a recent solar eclipse, Jupiter's critical positioning, and a rising wave of global consciousness that intensifies the potential for transformation. Second, you learned about the science behind it, how geomagnetic fluctuations can boost neural plasticity by over 13%, as confirmed by a European cognition lab. Third, we covered the physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual signs of this energy shift, reassuring you that what appears to be chaos is really a gateway to something greater. Fourth, you received practical guidance, high vibration foods, meditation, journaling, energy clearing, and the vital 4-step retrograde rewire method. Fifth, we just concluded a guided meditation to help you anchor these new frequencies. The big takeaway: act now, because once Mercury moves forward, the window narrows significantly. Looking ahead, imagine a future where enough of us have leveraged these cosmic windows to recode our inner narratives. We'd witness societies less driven by fear, more guided by compassion and cooperation. We'd see innovations in science, education, and governance that mirror this elevated state of consciousness. Imagine schools that teach emotional intelligence alongside mathematics, or workplaces that prioritize mindfulness over burnout. Some call this the dawn of a new Earth, a leap to 5D reality, or simply a more enlightened era. The exact term doesn't matter as much as the essence, a collective vibrational upgrade that births a more harmonious, vibrant, and creative human experience. And that isn't some far-off fantasy. It starts with you, in your living room, on your meditation cushion, rewriting your beliefs one at a time. Each personal shift is a building block in the grand architecture of global transformation. Now, a direct call to action. Don't let this knowledge just sit on your screen. Subscribe to Professor Marquez's upcoming updates, because she'll be sharing daily micro practices you can implement in just 3 minutes a day. Join an online community or create your own local meetup group to support each other through these next 3 weeks. Accountability accelerates transformation. Share your experiences on social media, tagging others who might also be feeling the cosmic nudge. And if you're still unsure whether you should invest time or energy in this, ask yourself a simple question. What if I did nothing and my life stayed exactly the same? Let the answer to that question guide your next move. Life is too precious to be lived on autopilot, especially when a cosmic door to change stands wide open. To close, let me leave you with a thought-provoking statement. The cosmos provides windows of opportunity, but it's up to each of us to climb through. This Mercury retrograde, starting on April 4th, 2025, is one such window, and it's bigger, brighter, and more potent than most people imagine. You hold the power to recode your limiting beliefs, step into a new timeline, and anchor a frequency of possibility that the world desperately needs. The question is, will you take the leap? Or will you let this moment pass, only to wonder later what might have been? I believe you're ready. That stirring in your heart, that electricity in your mind, it's your highest self whispering, yes, now is the time. If you've listened this far, you already sense the urgency, the significance of this cosmic juncture. Embrace it fully, align your mind, body, and spirit with the waves of transformation swirling around us. Prepare, practice, and let your old beliefs dissolve into the ether. Then watch as a new self, more alive, more confident, more luminous emerges. And trust that by doing so, you're not just changing your personal narrative, you're adding momentum to the collective awakening already underway. The next few weeks are a crucible for profound metamorphosis. Step in, let the cosmic forces catalyze your growth, and emerge renewed on the other side. The door is open. Claim your transformation, and when you do, you'll realize that the real magic was inside you all along, waiting for this very moment to be unleashed. Share this message. Embrace the cosmic invitation. And remember, once you begin, there's no turning back, only a forward evolution into greater wholeness and awakened possibility. The time is now. May you rise, rewrite your story, and shine brighter than ever before. We'll see you on the other side of this retrograde, sporting the next version of yourself, limitless, unstoppable, and fully aligned with the cosmic dance of creation. The universe is ready. Are you?